In today's video, I'll be going over 5 tips that instantly make your videos look more professional. Hey, what's up ladies and gentlemen, I'm Ignace Aleya and today it's Tip Trick Tuesday. First of all are the titles you are using within your video. A well-designed title with an elegant typography and smooth animations is a very big deal when it comes to your video intros. The animation doesn't have to be crazy, and if you're not the best at animating, you could also just use a static title. A lot of beginners overdo the effects they actually do in their titles to show off everything they have learned in the past week. But that's usually not what you want. It's the title that should stand out, not your skills. I made a few videos on how to create clean and professional looking titles in Adobe Premiere Pro. I also have a ton of advanced intro title tutorials that I made in Adobe After Effects that you can check out to improve your title game. I also have a tips video on how to make your title stand out and how to make it pop. Also a really interesting video to watch if you're working a lot with titles. Definitely check them out. All the links will be in the description below. Secondly is the grading you give to your video. Grading doesn't only stylize your video, it gives your video an entire mood or vibe. It really represents the feeling you want your audience to conceive while they're watching your video. Honestly, videos are all about emotions. Making your audience feel a certain way instead of just watching a cool video, that's the main thing that differentiates a professional from an amateur. If you have the skills to make your audience feel something while they're watching your video, you are amazingly talented. This is so important to awaken that little flame of emotion within your audience. Whether it is being sad, whether it's being happy, it doesn't really matter. You just need to kind of accentuate emotions in your video. Color grading also really helps to isolate a certain emotion. When you watch a green cast or bluish kind of grayed video, your audience will most likely feel kind of alone, kind of sad. Really depends on what kind of video you're trying to make, but these colors are going to make it seem like you're lost. When you go for like a warm orange kind of look in your summer type video, for example, you most likely want your audience to feel happy and safe. So these two colors really make your audience feel a certain way. If it's a horror movie, if it's a thriller, if you're doing a vlog and you're on a vacation, a travel kind of video, is it raining, is it a bad day that you just had like a bad experience, make the color kind of follow the emotion and the story of your video. If you haven't really experimented with color yet, I highly encourage you to think twice about color. Don't just use it because it looks cool, but start using it when it actually accentuates the mood you're trying to give your video. And I also have a few tutorials on this as well, so check them out with links in the description below. We also have a great LUTs pack which you can actually use to give your videos a mood instantly. These LUTs, you just apply them to your video and instantly get a kind of grade. So we have a bunch of these, link also in the description. And I'm gonna stop saying links in the description, but yeah, you know where to find everything. Third point is sound effects and music. As you all may know, video is a big part of our future. It's used to tell all kinds of stories. The popularity of video is growing rapidly online for advertisement, anything, documentary. You have all kinds of uses for video. The importance of video quality is in this way also very important, but if you combine it with poor audio or sound effects, when you can actually ruin your entire video. And I know a lot of videographers, when they start out editing, they don't really pay a lot of attention to audio because they have so much other things to worry about while editing their video, and they have to learn all the basics and things that there is to know about video editing. But just take some time to actually teach yourself how to work with audio, how the audio actually works, how it makes you feel, what you want your audience again to feel. If you spend 90% of your time creating your video and at the end you just add some music behind your video, actually your video could actually go pretty much to waste, and all the time and effort you put into it doesn't really come out right. And actually you will have noticed this in your first edits. I did in my first edits when I just was working on one music track and I made my entire edit. I was like, something is off, but I can't really tell what. And that was basically the sound effects and music that I put behind my video without any thought to it. Audio gives you so much opportunity to make your video stand out. Not only selecting the right music, but also adding sound effects when your camera transitions into another scene. Or when something happens, like you're walking through the forest and you hear the footsteps through the leaves, it really helps your video. And even if you have already music on that video, adding the sound effects on top of it really makes it stand out and make it more dynamic. Also, a lot of times you can hear the sound effects louder than you would actually hear them in real life. Make it stand out even more. Music is, as I also said, very important. Having great music tracks with enough depth in the song to make it more dynamic is very important. A song should also basically be like telling a story. It should have a beginning, a middle, and an end. You see a lot of songs that with an equal amount of strength and power during the entire song, and after 2 minutes, honestly, it gets very boring. You need to spice it up a little bit. It has to be slow and low at some points. It has to be very powerful and epic at some other points, and it just needs a lot of variation. You can also go and mix different songs together, so there is enough variation in your video, which is also really important, but you really need to diversify it a little bit. People like to experience change and evolution, so your song also should do the same. This you can do by looking at the waveform. You'll see these waves changing in height, the louder parts and the lower parts. Try finding a song that best fits your story, and definitely take your time to finding the music track you want. Don't just pick the first thing you find that is okay. Try to find something that you're in love with. A great place to find amazing music is actually at artlist.io, which I personally use myself whenever I want copyright-free music. They have a great subscription-based model, and you can use the music in whatever commercial project you might have. They also have a bunch of styles and moods to offer, so that's really cool if you need a lot of varying music. Another great place to find music is at my good friend Levito's channel. He makes amazing beats as well that you can use for free if you credit him for it on your YouTube channel. And yeah, that's it. So number 4 is speed ramps and speed transitions. What are these exactly? Well, these are the parts of your video that you speed up and then slow down to a part of your video that you actually want to show your audience, as you can see in the examples right here. This doesn't necessarily mean that each professional project needs speed ramps and speed transitions, but I thought this was a good topic to talk about because these effects really give your video a nice flow. And flow is very important in your video. If you don't know what flow is, it's just when you watch your video that everything plays smoothly, it fits together. If you kind of transition from one shot to another shot, did that transition match? You can usually do that also by kind of following the motions of the previous shot, but a flow in a video is really hard to pull off if you're not a professional video editor. But if you're a beginner and you know the basics of speed ramps, which I also have a tutorial about, then you can really start to kind of flow into the other scene using these techniques. And yeah, that's a really interesting way to kind of add flow in your video as a beginner. But also if you're a professional, this is a really cool effect, so it doesn't really get old. You don't want your audience to be distracted from a bad edit or a bad cut. Speed ramps and speed transitions are actually a great way to give your video that flow without having much editing experience. Number 5 is camera movements. The camera movements can be epic and out of this world to amaze your audience, but camera movement is not just showing off with what kind of gimbals you have. It's not about moving the camera around to change it up a little bit, although that's also a portion of the reason why you would move your camera around. But camera movement is actually used to enhance, again, telling your story. Every single camera motion gives your audience a different kind of feeling. So choosing how you would move your camera is actually extremely important. This is where beginners lag a lot. People don't realize that often a movement is used to give a particular feeling. Is the character trapped? Then the camera will be closer to his face and kind of really lock him in that frame. Is he happy and free? Then the camera will have a wide angle lens to it and you will see his entire surrounding because it's open, he's free, he has nothing to hide or no surprises. So that's really something that you want to put into your camera frame. Are you pulling your camera closer because he's up to something or he figures out something? Are you going to a gimbal shot because you want smooth, happy video, ideal for kind of wedding videos, for example? Or are you going for a shaky camera look because there is a lot of tension, a lot of stress in your scene? You have a million different ways to record a certain shot or action, and the shot you choose should be to enhance the story or the feeling you want your audience to have. The reason I'm talking about this in an editing tips video is because you can always change your camera motion later on. I have a video on how to change your camera motion simply in Premiere Pro, or if you recorded a static video on a tripod or something like that and want to bring in that tension, you can add one of our camera shake presets. These presets give you real organic camera movement. You can either go for a soft shake or a heavy shake and gives your shot an entirely different mood. And those were all the 5 tips, but they all brought us to one bonus tip, which is the most important of them all and not always the easiest to pull off, and that's story. Every video needs a story. Whether it's a simple or complex story, it doesn't matter, but it needs a story. This is a way to touch your audience's heart, to make them feel emotions, and all these tips of above only enhance telling your story, but if there is no story to tell, these tips are quite useless. So try thinking a little bit more upfront about the result of your video before just creating it. And that's all I have to say. That's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, give this video a like. Also subscribe to the channel for more and definitely hit that notification bell so you get notified when I upload new videos. Apart from that, check out our website. We have a bunch to offer for filmmakers, motion graphics artists, and much more. And then I hope to see you in the next one. Goodbye.